Annuity e-applications, folks. That's what we're going to talk about today. Hello, financial professionals. Charlie Gipple here with CG Financial Group. I want to go over our annuity electronic application. Why? Because it will save you a ton of time. The applications many times are perfect versus if you otherwise do just paper where there is a 50 to 60% probability you're going to screw it up. That's what industry statistics say, that there's a 50 to 60% probability that the carrier is going to say, no, you didn't dot that I right, you didn't cross that T correctly. Now, what you see here is the Business Builder interface. This is the system that you get when you sign up with CG Financial Group. This page right here, it's kind of irrelevant. Each of you will have different home pages, so to speak. What's important is over on the left-hand side. You have a ton of stuff on the left-hand side. This is everything annuity product specs, life insurance product specs, life insurance quote engines, iPipeline quote engines. This is also your dashboard. How are your pending cases doing? What stage throughout the process are your pending cases in? But as we're going to talk about here today, it is annuity e-application. So over on the left-hand side, what you are going to click 90% of the time when you log into Business Builder is Sales Tools. That's where the meat of this system is. And again, this is a free interface. This is free technology to you when you sign up with CG Financial Group, which by the way is why we at CG Financial Group cannot bring on any financial professional. There are production requirements to come aboard with CG Financial Group because all this stuff costs money, right? So over on the left-hand side, you'll click Sales Tools, and then you'll see three different categories, annuities, life, and e-apps. For purposes of this conversation today, we're going to open up the e-apps, and Right Now and IGO is what you see. Now, IGO, many of you know of it as iPipeline. That is the life insurance electronic application. Right Now is also known as Firelight, or Firelight is also known as Right Now. Firelight is the industry standard for annuity electronic applications. 9 times out of 10, when agents talk about doing electronic apps, whether it's directly on the carrier's website or through their IMO, which hopefully it's CG Financial Group, 9 times out of 10, that electronic application is Firelight, also known as Right Now. So if you click there, here's what you have. Now, you're going to go into Right Now, and I technically just skipped a step so you don't see the client information that I have in my Right Now, but there will be just a bar right in the middle that says, do another application or create new application. So you click that button, and this is what you're taken to. Well, let's select what state we're in, and for purposes of this video here, we're going to do an AIG application, let's say, AIG annuities. Now, Firelight, also known as Right Now, also has life insurance products in here. Not all of them, but some life insurance products. Now, where people get confused a lot is product type. Well, Charlie, I'm not seeing my annuity in here. Well, okay, what product type do you have? What product type have you selected? Life. Well, then, of course, you're not going to see annuities in there. Just select all, and you can scroll through all the products and find them. AIG is now Core Bridge, right? So it's renamed, and let's say we're going to do the Power 10 Protector Plus Income, which is our top selling product today. Why? Fabulous income, fabulous guaranteed income, while at the same time, great caps. If the client has over $100,000, traditional S&P 500 strategy, 9% cap, at least of the time of this filming. All right, so here are all the forms that this electronic application is going to fill out. The forms that if you were doing paper, you would otherwise fill out. It's just if you have sloppy handwriting like me, you would, in a very sloppy manner, fill out these forms if you were otherwise doing a paper app. Now, paper applications, sometimes, I want to make a quick point here. Sometimes I will go out in the middle of nowhere, the boondocks, because I'm from Southwest Iowa. A lot of my personal clients are in Southwest Iowa. And if I throw up an electronic application, their eyes are going to roll in the back of their head because that 70-year-old farmer doesn't want to see that. So I bring paper applications. Instead of Charlie going through a paper application and all these forms with my sloppy handwriting that may or may not be correct because I did not dot an I or cross a T, I will create that paper application with Firelight and get to the end where Firelight asks for electronic signatures, but just print it off for real signatures so that when I drive 90 minutes out to the middle of nowhere, that farmer can sign on that paper, and it's an application that is very clean, because the system, whether you do electronic signatures eventually or, as I just explained, real signatures, it does not let you proceed unless the application is correct. So here's what we do. We want to create that new application, and let's say the client's name is Mr. Smith. So Mr. Smith, and you do create, and it'll ask you some questions on the front end here. So it's creating the application. So this stack of paperwork here, it's creating that application stack as we speak. We're going into the front end of Mr. Smith's information. Now, here are all the applications. So a couple points here, and I'm going to zoom in. We're not going to do the entire application because it will take about 15, 20 minutes, which is a heck of a lot quicker than the hour or so that a normal application would take. So check this out. We are only 68% complete. Well, where is the 32% that is not complete? The application Firelight, or Right Now, will tell you where the forms are that are not complete. Obviously, it's pretty much the entire thing, right? So, for example, if we go into, let's say that we have just one of these exclamation marks. Well, what's the deal here with the beneficiary? So we go over here, and you'll see things are highlighted red that need to be completed. So it pinpoints where your errors are. And when you are actually on the page that has an issue, if you have an issue, you will see that red, what is it? I forget what you call it. I call it a quotation sign, right? Now you can click on this and it will further point out what the issues are on the page. This field is required. So what happens is then you would fill out these fields, and once you've done that correctly, that symbol will disappear over on the right, and then your percentage will go up. And eventually, as you do it with all of these pages here, that percentage will hit 100%. And at that point in time, you do the signatures. And the signatures are quite simple. You have two options. Number one, is the client sitting next to you? Because if that client's sitting next to you, they can just punch in their electronic signature, which is like the last 4 digits of their social security number. You don't need a signature pad or anything. Or the second option is, that I use a lot because I do a lot of sales over Zoom, is do you want to email the request to the client for their signature? In which point you do that. The client gets the request in their email. They punch in the last 4 digits of their social security. Usually that's their signature. And boom, you're done. Very, very, very important here, folks. So that last part, the signature process, here's what the process is. The client needs to sign, and you, the agent, need to sign. So the same way, like the last 4 of your social security number, but that's still not complete. So many times it will sit there after both signatures have been done, and this Right Now application will sit there just in la-la land, because it has not been submitted to the carrier. If you get only one thing out of this video, make sure that you do that final step, because a lot of folks, a lot of agents believe that once the signatures are done, oh, it's submitted to Charlie's back office and it's submitted to the carrier. No, there is that final step to where you have to go in and submit it to the carrier. I've gotten a call before, a couple weeks after the case was supposedly written. Charlie, where's my case? You do a great job of managing these cases, but I haven't heard anything on my AIG case. Where is it? That's when I go into Right Now and I say, well, you haven't fully submitted it. So that's very important there. Like I said, once this gets to 100%, you can also print off the paper application, take it to the client, sign it, and chances are that application is not going to get NIGO'd, not in good order, by the company. One last point here is this. If you are doing transfers from other companies, especially from employer-sponsored plans, many times those plans require one of two things. The first one is their own forms, right? Especially employer-sponsored plans, their own forms. So you'll see a transfer form in here. I think that's a part of our stack actually here. If I go through here, the transfer form, it actually pops up automatically when you click that you're transferring it here on the funding sources. That's a moot point many times, especially with employer-sponsored plans. But even if those plans take the forms that will be filled out here in this stack, in this deck, here's what they'll say. We don't take electronic signatures. Yeah, the last 4 digits of your social security number. Nope, we don't accept that. We need the client's actual signature. Doesn't have to be the wet signature, but the actual signature. So what you have to do at that point in time is just print off that transfer form, even if you submitted it and everything else electronically. Many times you have to print off that transfer form, email it, or take it to the client to get their actual signature so that when you send it to AIG, for instance, in this example, they accept the funds and they send the actual signature with their acceptance to the other company to satisfy, well, the seeding company's request for a real signature. Folks, and the last thing here is... the last thing here is if you like this video, make sure you subscribe and also give me a thumbs up here. And that's a little bit on the Right Now e-application with annuities. Definitely use it. It will make your life easier.